Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this morning. So, listen, I love to listen to storytellers. Now, especially, and really, this is really the group that I like to, especially old people, especially old men. I love to listen to old men sit around telling stories, and they embellish some stuff, and that's fine. But I love to do that. I love to hear old men sit around and tell stories. Did you ever meet somebody that, if a story was told, that person had to tell one that was bigger and better as it related to them, right? If anybody ever told a story about something that happened to them, well, this person had a story that was more grandiose than that about what happened to them. You know what I'm talking about. Somebody who had to always top you. Really, in our lives and in our interactions with people, in our walk with the Lord, one of the biggest things that we have to fight against is our pride and and the building up of ourselves. That's why being humble and humility is one of the great things that is taught in the New Testament. It's because it's the way that we combat against our pride and combat against trying to build ourselves up to be bigger than we are and to be bigger than other people. I don't know if all that made sense or not. I hope it did. But it leads me to the verse in Romans chapter 12, verse 3. Paul says, "For I say through the grace given to me to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, as God has dealt to each one a measure of faith." You know, we compare ourselves to other people. Let's just be honest. That's what we do. We compare ourselves to other people at work. We compare ourselves to people in the neighborhood. We compare ourselves to our peers. We compare ourselves to people at church. And the thing is, when we're comparing ourselves, we want to try to find ourselves better than somebody so we can lift ourselves up. But what Paul is reminding us here, he's reminding us that anything and everything that we have, any and every gift that we have, any and every talent that we have, anything and everything that we might possibly have, that we might possibly think makes us somebody, the only reason we have it is because of the grace of God. It's not something we earned. It's not something you may have spent time developing it, but the gift and the talent itself was placed in our hearts, and it was placed in our lives, and it was placed there by God. And that God has given to each one, he says, a measure of faith. God has given to each person a gift, a measure of faith, and an ability to serve him. What I need to do is I need to make sure that I take my place and I serve God to the best of my ability and not look at other people and try to put myself above them. Listen, do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. It'll save you a lot of anxiety, and it'll save you a lot of worry, and it'll save you a lot of feeling down if you will just stop comparing yourself with other people and just worry about being who God has called you and gifted you and asked you to be. So I say, through the grace given to me, that everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, as God has dealt to each one a measure of his faith. God bless you guys. Get out there in faith today. Love you. Bye.